Hello and welcome. Today I'm talking all about new and upcoming makeup releases. There have been a lot of new releases that have been announced and have started coming out recently. So I just wanted to go through the ones that have caught my eye and share my thoughts on them and whether or not I'm planning to pick them up. So if you'd like to see that, just keep on watching. The very first thing on my list and at the top of my mind is the new Westman Atelier Complexion Drops. The full name of this product is the Vital Skincare Complexion Drops. So like most of, if not all of Westman Atelier's products, it's kind of meant to be makeup with skincare infused in it, basically kind of a hybrid between makeup and skincare. And they say the strength of a serum, the beauty of a skin tint, light to medium coverage, and a radiant finish. I was of course excited to hear about this product, and I've actually just ordered it right before I started filming. I ordered the shade Atelier 0 for myself, which is porcelain with yellow undertones. I'm not sure if that's a different shade description than Atelier 0 in their Vital Skin Foundation stick, because I feel like that was described as like porcelain with neutral undertones. But I've been wearing Atelier 0 in the stick foundation all summer and really enjoying it. I do find it to have a little bit more of a yellow undertone, and I think that having the yellow tones in this new formulation will be good for my skin as well. It may end up being too dark for me in the winter time, but I can always adjust it with my white Danessa Myricks Vision Cream cover if I need to. I figured it would be most important to get an undertone that really works for me. I find that yellow undertones go well with my skin and they seem to help kind of cancel out some of the redness in my skin as well. So that's why I sometimes like to go for that type of an undertone. Usually I try to just go for a neutral, but from the looks of the swatches here and from my awareness of the Atelier 0 shade in the stick foundation, I think that hopefully this one's going to work well. Other things that they're saying about this product: complexion boosting drops give breathable coverage and radiance while improving bare skin quality. Loaded with skincare actives at efficacy levels, this deeply nourishing formula instantly hydrates, evens tone, and soothes drop by drop our skin vitality complex, improves texture, firmness, and radiance. And then they go on to list a number of different special ingredients, I guess, that are in this. Each drop glides on like a lightweight oil and transforms into a cushiony serum for dewy, facial, fresh skin long after it's washed off. So the claims sound great. I don't usually put too much stock in skincare in makeup, in it really having effect on my skin. Part of the reason is that I wear different makeup all the time, so I'm not just wearing the same foundation over and over every day. But I will say my skin always feels good after I wear the Westman Atelier foundation stick, so I have a little bit more faith in their kind of skincare infused makeup than I do in a lot of other brands that will claim to have skincare, just because I do feel like the Westman Atelier products tend to just treat my skin really nicely. It always feels still healthy and fresh at the end of a day wearing Westman Atelier makeup. So that released just today, August 22nd, and I ordered it from the Westman Atelier website. I haven't seen it on Sephora yet. I was kind of hoping that it would come to Sephora at the exact same time because the shipping is free for me from Sephora and it usually arrives faster. But I ended up just ordering it from the Westman Atelier website because I'm very eager to try it out. Next up is something from Fenty that actually, when I saw the Westman Atelier product before I knew what it was, I kind of thought that was going to be the same type of thing as this Fenty product. This is the Ease Droplet All Over Glow Enhancer. This to me looks like kind of a Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter dupe, something like the Auric Glow Lust, even maybe similar to the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow Liquid Highlighter. This, according to the Sephora website, is a visible glow enhancer with skin-loving ingredients for natural-looking illumination. So it does seem to be kind of like a glowy primer, or you could use it as something to mix in with your foundation, or I think you could probably just use it as a liquid highlighter as well. I'm not going to be picking this up. I feel like I have enough of this type of product already, and this does have hyaluronic acid in it, so that would dissuade me from getting it anyway. But it looks interesting. I'll be curious to see what people think about this and how it kind of compares to those other products that I mentioned. but I'm not going to be trying that one out. Next up, we've heard that Gucci is coming out with blushes. This is interesting to me. I would be interested in trying probably just one shade of these blushes. For the most part, I enjoy Gucci makeup. I like most of what I've tried from Gucci, and I'm curious to see their take on blushes, so I would like to try at least one shade of those out. We don't seem to have a release date yet, at least at the time that I'm filming this for those, so I'll just be keeping my eye out for when those are coming out, and I'm curious to try that. We've also heard that Charlotte Tilbury is coming out with a concealer. I think the release date for this is going to be August 30th. They've said that they're bringing something out on August 30th, and then there have also been rumors of them bringing out a concealer, so I suspect that those two will coincide. For me, it'll depend on the ingredients. I'm guessing that this concealer is part of the same Beautiful Skin range that her Beautiful Skin foundation is from, and that has hyaluronic acid, and actually was the final thing that pushed me into cutting hyaluronic acid completely out of my skincare and makeup, because that foundation really broke me out. So it will depend on the ingredients in this concealer whether I decide to try it out or not. If it doesn't have hyaluronic acid, then I would be interested in trying it out. Another issue with Charlotte Tilbury for me for her complexion products is that they are very seldom light enough for my skin when it's at its palest, so it will depend on the shade range as well. Charlotte Tilbury is also coming out with a translucent powder. This looks to be the same as her famous Airbrush Flawless Finish powder, but just in a translucent shade. I'm not planning on picking that up. I have a number of powders that I'm pretty happy with, so I don't feel the need to try that one out, at least not at this time. Now from Natasha Denona, we're seeing a new collection. It's called the My Dream collection. It has an eyeshadow palette, a cheek palette, and a few lip products, I think a pencil, a lipstick, and a gloss. Contrary to what I'm seeing other people say about this, people seem to be pretty excited about this collection. For me, it's not really doing much. I'm actually not planning on picking up anything from this collection. Normally I do buy Natasha's eyeshadow palettes when she brings out new ones because I do love her formula. But this color story just doesn't really speak to me. I feel like I have enough of what's going on in that color story in the new Pat McGrath Moonlit Seduction palette that I'm really happy with. So I don't feel like the Natasha Denona palette is going to really do anything more than that does for me. And I also feel like I could pretty easily dupe this palette with my other Natasha Denona shadows. So that's something I'm actually thinking of doing. If I can find out some more information about this eyeshadow palette and what the shade names actually are, I kind of have a feeling that she might be actually repeating some shades that are in her other palettes, and even if she's not specifically repeating shades, I can see so many that look similar to other Natasha Denona shadows that I have. So in the future, once we know more about this palette, I might try to dupe it with my existing Natasha Denona shadows. I can see why this palette is appealing to a lot of people. I think it looks very wearable. I think you could do beautiful looks with it. But for me, I just don't think it's necessary or worth it. The cheek palette, I'm just not that interested in that kind of berry toned blush. I have a few berry toned blushes and I feel like that's enough for me. It's not a type of blush color that I tend to go to very often. And then there are two highlighters in this palette, and one of them looks quite dark, so it probably wouldn't work very well for me. And I already have a few Natasha Denona highlighters that I'm pretty happy with, so I just don't feel like, again, adding that into my collection is really going to do much for me. And I'm already swimming in lipsticks, so I just don't feel that drawn to the lip collection that's part of this little grouping either. I haven't seen a release date for this either, but I would suspect it's fairly soon. Something that has already come out in some regions and not in others. This is from Chanel. They've brought out 4 tweed quads. These are very interesting to me, basically for the way that they're presented. So each of these little quads comes with its own little matching tweed pouch that matches the color story of the palette. And then the texture on the pans have a really interesting tweed effect. And tweed is, of course, an iconic fabric for Chanel. So because of all those reasons, I'm kind of drawn to trying one of these quads. I think I've only tried one Chanel quad before, and I really wasn't impressed with it. I don't like it at all, and I never use it. I just don't like the quality of the shadows, and I was never happy with any of the looks I tried to make with that palette. So that makes me a little bit hesitant about trying these, but I watched a video from Sophia Sees Beauty. She's another YouTuber, and she did a really helpful kind of in-depth video. She got all 4 of these quads and was able to demo them and review them and share her thoughts on each of them, which ones might be worth it, which ones might not be. So I was most interested in the one that I think she said was her favorite. It was more of a neutral kind of soft color story. So if I were to get one of these, it would be that one, but I just haven't decided yet. So I'll be keeping my eye on those. They've not been released in Canada yet, so I have no idea when they'll be available. So I'm kind of just on the fence about that one. Another eyeshadow release that's coming soon is from Rose Inc. They're bringing out cream and powder eyeshadow duos. It looks like they have 4 shades that they're going to be bringing out. I'm going to pass on this release. Not that I'm not curious about these, but I just have a lot of cream eyeshadows and cream and powder eyeshadow duos that I don't get enough use out of as it is. So I just don't feel like it would make sense for me to add one of these Rose Inc ones. Victoria Beckham Beauty has brought out a new shade of their Satin Kajal eyeliners. Her eyeliners are my favorite, and this new shade is called Fig, and it's a beautiful kind of eggplant purple type shade. I haven't ordered this yet, but I do plan to pick it up in the future. I'm just kind of waiting for maybe another release from Victoria Beckham to come out so I can just order both things at the same time or for a sale. I do intend to pick up the Fig eyeliner at some point, just not quite yet. Chantecaille has dropped their Fall 2022 collection. It consists of 2 eyeshadow quads and I think maybe 4 lip products. They look to be lip cheeks, all of them. So there are 2 animals that they're focusing on in this collection. One is the black jaguar, so there's a palette and I believe 2 lip cheeks associated with that. And then the cougar is the other, and again there's an eyeshadow quad and 2 lip cheeks. Of these 2 groupings, I'm definitely more interested in the cougar set. The cougar eyeshadow palette looks beautiful. It appeals to me more than the jaguar one. And the colors of the lip cheeks in the Cougar collection also just appeal to me more. At this point, I'm not planning on picking up anything from this collection. If I were to get anything, it would be the Cougar eyeshadow palette. That's definitely the most appealing to me out of all of these items. I think it looks like a beautiful neutral palette, really easy to wear, great for every day. I might wait to see if this goes on sale at some point. I've been buying quite a number of eyeshadow palettes recently, actually, and I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed by them. So I feel like at this point, it's not really the time for me to be buying another eyeshadow palette, although I'm definitely drawn especially to this Cougar one and would be very interested to try it. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about today is the 2 new shades of the Salt New York Lip and Cheek tints. They brought out 2 new shades for summer, and I think that these are actually going to be permanent shades. So they're called Sunburnt and Horny, and I'm actually wearing them both today, and I filmed myself applying them, so I'm gonna insert that footage. My favorite of the 2 is Sunburnt. It's just such a beautiful kind of warm rosy shade that I find really easy to wear. And especially in the summertime, I think it's so nice to get that kind of sunburnt flush. I really enjoy this one. And then I applied a little bit of the Horny shade as well, just kind of higher up on my cheeks because that's quite an intense kind of reddish shade, also beautiful. And I think they work really nicely together as well. I just wanted to quickly mention those new shades. I love the Salt New York products. I have most of their blush shades, and their cream blushes are just really easy to work with. They have great colors, and I find they're some of the longest lasting cream blushes on my skin, which is also great. I also applied the Sunburnt shade to my lips. I actually have a Lisa Eldridge lipstick over top of it right now because I wanted a little bit more vibrancy, but the Sunburnt shade is a really beautiful, subtle my lips but better type of color on the lips. So that's it for this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on these new releases. Are you excited about any of them? Planning to pick any of them up? If you have any other questions or comments, I'd love to see those. And if you'd like to see more from me and you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I'd love for you to do so. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video.